Ronnie Warren said, at what point did Amanda get into preparation, or is that something she was always interested in?
So I grew up with a mom who was a couponer. So on Sunday mornings, we would get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and we would go to the local newspaper stand and we would buy all of the Sunday newspapers because that's where all the coupons
You mean
were.
you bought one and stole all the others?
Opened up
I
the
was
thing
young. I don't know. But so we would do that and then we would
Isn't that what everybody did when you
Yeah.
needed to move? You just steal all the newspapers to wrap all your cups and shit on?
It
And then
costs
we
you
would
50
spend-
cents for as many as you can
Yeah.
carry, not just for one.
And then we'd spend a couple of hours going through and looking at what coupons were in there and who was having sales. And back
Would
then,
you have all that newsprint? You'd have like newsprint all over your face and shit?
I don't know about that. It was definitely on your hands. And back then, Vaughn's and Lucky's would do double coupons. So you could take this $1 coupon in there and get $2 off. Plus, they had like rewards and all that. So basically, we had a prepper's pantry without realizing we had a prepper's pantry from the time that I can remember. We always had several months, if not years, worth of everything that you could store in a cabinet. Toiletries, canned food, canned meats, pastas, all that stuff. So I've always bought extra. I've always had extra. Even living in a little tiny apartment, I still had water in my closets. I still had, extra food underneath the bed. I mean, I've basically really always kind of done that. We just do it to a much bigger scale now.
Yeah.
And it was never like for the end of the world. It was just, that's what we do.
Well, I mean, even when we were in San Diego, we had a plan. Like, we were leaving San Diego. Like, we just didn't know where we were going. And, like, we would run around for a long time, for, like, years. We had swap meets in San Diego. So on Saturday, we would go to the swap meet, and we'd have one in Lakeside. Lakeside had one. I think Santee had one. Lakeside had one. Santee had one. The sports arena had one. Oceanside had one, and then there were a couple others. So like we would get up early on a Saturday and literally just power bars and fly to the swap meet, and they were big. Like some of them took hours to go through. And we would buy up, like we bought up anything that looked like it was old, like kitchen, like we bought potato ricers and things to make grape jelly, push all the juice out with, cast iron. We were buying up like kerosene heaters. Like you couldn't even buy kerosene in San Diego. Like you'd have to drive an hour to find kerosene. The only place you could get kerosene was like at like we didn't even have a Walmart there to start until years later. You'd have to go like to Home Depot and buy kerosene, and it was like $50
for like a can.
Yeah, it was super expensive.
Yeah.
I don't remember ever seeing kerosene except for like in paint cans. Is that what you're talking about? Yeah, like I've seen that.
That's for cutting paint, I think.
Yeah, but in California, but here that's at the gas pump.
Yeah.
So like we were buying kerosene heaters. We'd never even tested them. We didn't even know if they worked, right? We were just buying cool shit. We would buy fucking backpacks, and I mean it like because they had a lot. It was starting where you had all these like people that would fill up storage units, and then you had guys that would just go around to these auctions and buy storage units up.
Yeah.
So they had like I found a dude had one of my vests, right? He had a black, it was a CQB vest, had a belt, had a holster, had a subload, and I think it had a Camelback on it. And I'm like, hey man, I made that thing. And like I think he wanted to sell. I go, what do you want for that? He's like $75. I go, dude, you could totally sell this right now for like $1,000 on eBay. And he's like, well, why don't you fucking buy it then?
Yeah, he was
like,
pretty shitty about it.
I'm like, I'll give you $50 for it, right? We put it on eBay, and I sold it for $1,200 that night. Like it shipped to Japan, I think is where it went.
I think so.
But we used to always just buy cool shit, and we were constantly out. Just like we'd go kayaking, we'd go mountain climbing, not mountain climbing, but bouldering, right? We were always in a rock gym. We had vertical hold, and then we had another one, I don't remember its name. We had 3 gyms in San Diego where you could climb indoor. We'd be at Singing Hills, we'd be at Mission Trails, we'd be at the Santee Boulders, mountain biking, rappelled off the bridge. Like we were constantly doing shit, right?
Yeah.
And Jaeger said, like when we moved here, he's like, man, you talked about all this shit you do, and you don't go do fucking nothing with like. I just got here and we just started
Went
working.
to work,
man.
yeah. That's the like when you have free time, you can do that kind of stuff. But when
And
you're
we
working,
do. I mean, we went and did some mountain biking here, and I mean, now we're to the point like when we bought this place, there was a one, but like when we paced out and actually rolled out the trail and then used the apps and shit, we had a 1.25 mile motocross track. It was 1.25 mile.
Yeah.
You could drag that. We could walk it and bypass all those and had 3D targets out here. We could mountain bike it. Like I used to take Sebastian every break and we'd get on the fucking mountain bikes and we would ride the motocross track, which is fucking damn near impossible.
Yeah,
right? You're gonna walk part of it.
Yeah.
So, like we didn't have to move. Scully said, John never leaves there. He made his own POW camp, but I have a pretty fucking comfortable POW camp, and I have thousands of people that want to come visit me in my POW camp every year. So I'm doing pretty well, I think.
Yep.
At what point did Amanda get into preparation of that? She said, what is your favorite luxury item you own? Like a watch or a knife or whatever, that when you look at it, you're just like, man, that's badass.
You want me to answer this question?
Answer it for me.
For you. Ooh.
I'm very, very far removed from like luxury items. I have intentionally, and now I'm gonna have my phone's gonna blow up with it. All these luxury items groups I'm in. I'm intentionally not looking at luxury items because if I do, like Amanda will tell you, if I go look at fucking Porsches and stuff tonight, we're gonna go buy one this weekend. I shouldn't buy one this weekend, right? I have money going so many different places, but I'm gonna go. So I intentionally don't. I don't look at them.
I have 2 watch dealers that send me emails at least once a week because I've purchased stuff from them before, and I just delete them without opening them right now because it's not the time for that kind of stuff.
Every time I see it, I'm like, I should just pull some money out of Bitcoin and go fucking buy this thing, right? But Bitcoin's at $18,000 right now. It's going to, you're gonna see it cap. You're gonna see it come over 100,000, right?
Yeah.
And then in Bitcoin, like the dudes really making money with Bitcoin, they're not spending Bitcoin. There are banks that will give you money. They'll give you loans against Bitcoin. Rich people don't spend money. Rich people buy assets and have assets, and then they use those assets to take out loans, and then they pay the loans, and they have life insurance policies that will pay that off when they die. So the life insurance policies are double, triple what the payoff is, so that that life insurance policy will cash out enough money to not only pay off all the debt, but pay the inheritance taxes. And then rich people also don't own that shit. It all goes into a trust. So nothing can be taxed anyways or taken away. Those are games that you're not taught. Like you don't know that because why don't we tell kids that in school? Because we need menial workers, right? Everybody's talking about minimum wage. We need to raise minimum wage. Most people aren't making minimum wage. Minimum wage hasn't been raised in so long. Most people are making way more than minimum wage. Your average fast food worker, I heard Spearco talk about these numbers. I'm not sure where he got them from, but they're making $18 to $19, $20 an hour minimum, right?
And they still can't get your order right.
I mean, we're getting rid of people. That's what people don't realize. Their automation is coming. There are stores when you pull up you shouldn't be going anywhere that has a fucking window where they hand you a bag of clown food. But those stores are running with like 2 people inside them. Like during COVID, when we were especially antiquing a lot, we would go and stop at McDonald's, because McDonald's, if you get an Egg McMuffin, they actually crack a real egg and make your egg McMuffin, right? So I'd buy like 6 of those, and Amanda would get a few of them, and then I'd eat all the shit out of them and just make like one big giant sandwich out of them. We'd go in those stores, and there was literally 2 people in the entire fucking McDonald's. That's literally only 2 people that even were at work.
Yeah. With the rich people borrowing money and stuff, that's how you get away from not paying taxes, because you don't pay taxes on
That's why I was
loan.
saying that. Yeah, I guess I just never made the point.
Yeah, so you own something, you borrow money on it to buy something else, and then when you make money to pay that off, you're not paying taxes.
Yep. I've got some cool watches.
I was going to answer this for you, but it's not going to be an answer that he wants. It's the freedom to do whatever you want.
For real,
Yeah, that's your luxury item. That's the best luxury item, you know?
Yeah, I don't ever have to get up at a time in the morning. I don't ever have to go to bed at a time at night. I just like literally do fucking whatever I want to do. When you got here, I was out here fucking with this wall over here, right? And when you're like, hey, I'm going to come in Thursday, we're going to film some stuff. I'm like, fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Not opposed to it, good. Like, I've been looking forward to doing this today, right? I was out this morning dealing with all the animals and stuff, and messing with the sheep, and we got.
Now you could say that you have to do that, but you put yourself into that situation. You wanted to have to.
I don't even have to do it. Like I could go, hey Cody, go do this. Hey Ethan, go take care of this, right? But they all have a task, right? So
they all have to be here at a certain time.
Yeah.
So I get to go do those things. Right?
Yeah. That's the most luxury item anybody could ever.
I don't ever get up and go, shit, I gotta go to work. Have you ever heard me say that?
No, definitely not.
I mean, I've got a bunch of cool knives. I got a bunch of cool watches and shit. We've got cars and stuff like. But I mean, I saw somebody ask on here also.
What's your favorite car and why?
Oh, there it is. Yeah. What's your favorite car and what's your favorite car?
That's a hard one.
Everybody knows what her favorite car is.
It's been
the Jeep truck.
Yep.
The pussy wagon, of course.
We don't have a Jeep truck, guys. I know a lot of you were like, "Hey, right on! I'm so glad to hear you got a Jeep." We didn't buy a Jeep.
I'm waiting to the day I come here and somebody's here buying gear in a Jeep truck, because then I'm just gonna take a picture of it and post it.
There was a dude. There's been dudes here with badass Jeep trucks.
Yeah.
We have seen several that are very well built up, but it's still a Jeep truck.
Well, yeah, that's what I want, one in this parking lot, so when I post it, it looks like it's yours sitting here.
I like my truck so big that I'm like, man, I should lower this thing.
Yeah, like maybe I went a little too much with it.
Yeah. I would say you like the 4Runner the best.
Yeah.
That's what we drive. That's what we drove last night. She hates driving the Tundra. The Tundra's huge. Like, if you've never been in a Tundra, it is fucking enormous inside. It is huge.
And here is the reason I don't like to drive the Tundra. And really most things I don't like to drive, like the Excursion and stuff, because the depth of the seat is so deep that my knees don't bend over the end. They kind of stick out, and it puts a lot of pressure on my knees while I'm trying to drive. Because I'm short.
You need a booster seat.
I don't think a booster seat would work, because then I'm gonna struggle to get to the
You know, there's a monster truck that you don't sit down and you actually drive it standing up.
I don't think so.
You want me to take the seat out of the car for you to drive?
No. No. But that's why I don't like driving the bigger vehicles, because it kills my knees.
But you ride rides that go upside down.
Well, yeah.
But they have terrible seats on those things.
Right, but I'm not in them for 2 hours. Or 6 hours.
When the power goes out, you might be. Didn't they just have a ride that was like
that happens
up in the
all
air
the
and
time.
it fucking smashed and like people flew off of it and shit?
That would be terrible.
It looked like it probably wasn't in the... well, it might have been in the United States. It might have been like at a carnival.
Yeah.
Like, if you guys are going and riding carnival rides, you should look at the people standing behind those, because those are the motherfuckers that put them things together.
I just saw a meme of that one where you get in it and it spins you so you're pinned up against the wall.
Oh, yeah.
It's like all these kids up against the wall, like, that was us. And
yeah.
they could have just
we
spun
did
away,
that.
You know?
Yeah, we did that all the time. And then if you throw up, it's like right back in your face because of the G-force. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I like the 4Runner too. Like, that's what we get in, unless we have to move some stuff, if we got to haul some shit. The Tundra, I mean, we use the Tundra, but the Tundra is also way easier to hook a trailer to, because I've got those swing outs and all that shit on the 4Runner. I really need a hitch receiver, a hitch, I guess, that's longer, or I need a trailer with a longer tang, but then it's going to change all the fulcrum and everything on it. So Adversity, this is Kane Grosso. That was Fortress K9. Hey, what's up, man? Kane Grosso. Adversity builds character, and we are forged only through the flame. With that said, if you can change anything on your journey of building the SOE brand into the Titan it is today, what would you change? I don't see us as a Titan. Like, so, I mean, I think we could always continue to do what we're doing and be bigger. To do that, I would definitely have to move, and we're not moving. The labor pool is just not here. So we're kind of where we are. We're restructuring a lot of how we do things. We have done a lot of different shit from what we've done the years before, just in the last 3 years. That's why you see our product selling out so fast. We're building more shit right now than we've ever built. it's selling and there is a demand because of the way we're doing things differently.
I think of SOE as being more of a Supreme than a Louis Vuitton, because everybody can get Louis
Boutique,
Vuitton.
yeah.
Supreme is super cool shit that not everybody can have.
Yeah.
You know, it's not a big thing. It's more of a boutique.
And you see a lot of guys online talking shit about that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, when are these... And they're not talking about us. They're talking about other guys.
Uh-huh.
Some of them are talking about us. But they're like, yeah, they do like this drip marketing, right? And it takes forever. And if you want to build this rig, it takes 2 years when you can go get this one. Well, go buy your China shit. Like, you weren't going to buy... And you're definitely not going to buy our shit. Our shit's way fucking... You're complaining about their prices.
It's way harder to get our shit.
Our prices cost way more than what that shit costs. So there's a seat for every ass.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy complaining the most is the one getting the most views. That's how that always is. The guy with the most views and the most fucking comments, he's not saying anything positive. He never is. If you look at my posts, if I cuss someone out and I'm fucking calling someone out, you'll get hundreds of comments. When I say something of use, there's fucking 2-3 comments on that shit.
Mm-hmm.
With that said, if you can change anything on your journey of building the SOE brand, what would I change? I probably would have automated things earlier. I would have made it so other people could do more of what I do. Other than that, I don't know. I don't really know.
I kind of took that as like, if you could change something about your life, what would it be? And
yeah, I don't know that I would. Like, everybody's like, well, wouldn't you not go to prison? Would you fucking know who I was had I not? Like, you might not even know the story. You might not even know that I was in prison. But a lot of the reason you know of my company right now is from all the dudes that were talking shit about me having been in prison.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there was tons. I remember James said for a long time, he's like, dude, the first few years you were here, you always said when I came home. You never said when I came home from prison. It's only recently that you said that. And that stuck out when James said that.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of dudes trying to damage me would say that. Well, he was in prison. And they're always talking shit, right? It was always, they never did it until I started showing nice things, right?
Yeah.
I always left the shop at midnight, 1 o'clock, even 3 in the morning, and I always showed a picture of the watch. They never gave a shit until the watch cost over $1,000. When it was a Citizen Dive watch, like, we bought a bunch of those at the swap meets too. Like, I probably have 10 Citizen, Aqualung dive watches. Until the watch became a Tag Heuer, and then a Breitling, and then a Panerai, and then a Hublot, and the nicer, and the steering wheel, instead of saying Ford, said Range Rover.
I was just thinking, I remember Ford steering wheels, and then it switched to Range Rover. But yeah, like, that was exactly
when
what
they
I was
literally
thinking.
lost their ever fucking minds. And they're like, oh, it must be nice, or you think you're so badass. I go, you're totally missing the point. The point is, if you look every night for the last fucking 5 years, it's been after midnight.
Yeah.
It's been out, and my first posts in the morning are at fucking 7 o'clock when I'm back in the shop, right? So they focus on one thing, but they're completely missing the actual substance of the post, right?
Yeah, I think that we were talking about things changed where people, it's cool to be diagnosed with stuff. Something also changed where you used to see somebody being successful and want to be like that. Now when you see somebody being successful, you're mad at them for some reason. I don't know why, but...
Well, and nowadays, the word hard work is a dirty word.
Yes,
like,
exactly.
oh, I don't want to work hard.
It's because
I just want everything to just come to me because I'm this wonderful, magical being.
Yeah, we have the right. That's the big thing.
It's from upbringing, right? It's upbringing. And we are not bringing our kids up. Public schools are bringing our kids up, and you have children, and we have this way of life, and then we send our kids somewhere else to be raised by people that hate us, and then we wonder why our kids come home and hate everything that we are about, right? And that's that thing. You as society are being dumbed down. You're not being told anymore. Like, they used to tell us, little Johnny, never me, but you always saw that, right? Little Johnny, little Timmy, you can be anything you want. What do you want to be? I want to be an astronaut. I want to be a fireman. I want to be the president.
Yeah.
And they molded that, right? They tell you that, but then once you're in public school, they don't fucking tell you that anymore.
No, now they tell you why you can't.
Yeah, and everybody gets a trophy, right? So they give reward for no
effort,
no hard work, no fucking failure. You have to fail. Nobody wants to watch the movie where the superhero comes out the gate and he's just the superhero. How did that happen, right? What fucking terrible shit happened to him, and what did he overcome to become the superhero? But we instead reward kids for negativity, man. We and that's just that. Like, it used to be when you had a young Marine come in the shop, wrote you a check, you would call the fucking command, and that fucking dude, the CO or the XO or his fucking sergeant would come to your fucking shop, and that kid would hand you the fucking money, right? They would literally beat that kid's ass. Not anymore. Not anymore. James Barden asked, at what point did you decide to go full-time on your business, or did you just wake up one morning and say, fuck it, burn the boats? No. I've always, every time I've been forced to do something, I always say, man, we should have done that earlier. Every time we've had an employee or some person that we needed to fucking not have here anymore, every time we needed to change something to a different software system, every time we need to change accounting system, change bookkeeper, change anything, right? Go get a better, higher end tax attorney, right? It's always, when we do it and we're done with it, we're always like, I should have not waited. I was doing delivery routes, throwing newspapers, and building gear, right? The gear thing was a hobby. I was spending all my money to build the gear, and I was doing delivery routes. I did Investors Business Daily, New York Times, and something journal, some Investors Business, Wall Street Journal. And I was making about $3,500 a month doing those, and it was taking about 3 hours a night, and then on Sunday it'd take about 4 hours a night to do them, and I threw them all in the exact same area. So a lot of these people got 3 newspapers at the same driveway, right, or same place of business. So it's something I could do in the middle of the night, listen to Art Bell, and then go home and just work, and then fucking go to sleep at 10 in the morning, and then get up, you know, whenever, and just go dive in and go ride dirt bikes all the time, do whatever I wanted to do. And I was taking time off to do gun shows, to sell product and set up and vend and stuff. And we were going to Arizona and Nevada, and I was just taking days off, and I was probably doing a shitty job here and there, and they finally got tired of my shit, or had they merged my routes. So I come in and I'm fired one day, right? So that made me have to do SOE full time. And I made more money that month. I made fucking probably 4 times the amount of money that month that I had to do SOE for real than I ever did throwing newspapers or anything else. There's a lot of other jobs. I started working when I was 13. I've done decorative brick, block, and masonry. I swung sledgehammers and pickaxes. I've done framing. I've done all kinds of shit. At 13, I was traveling 90 minutes to work at a McDonald's that my grandfather got me a job at because he was friends with the man that owned McDonald's. That was in San Diego. At 13 and a half, I was able to have a legal job at work, right? Fucking, now what's the age limit? Who fucking knows? 15, 16 years old. I bet we have adult grown males who have never held a job.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But that's the answer. The burn the boats thing, I'm hesitant to tell people that, right? I almost have to qualify the audience, because I want to tell people, fucking burn the boats, leave no choice, go in and light your boss's job on fire so you can never go back, right? If you were good enough at your job and you leave your job and burn the boats, they'll be fucking calling you, hey, you ever thought about coming back to work? Will you please come back to work? If that doesn't happen, you were not a good enough employee. And if you're not a good employee, you're probably also not going to be a good at running your own business. However, with that said, I'm always worried that some lady is going to send me an email, or I'm going to bump into somebody and go, hey, my husband committed suicide because he took your advice and burned the boats. And I really think that most people who need to have this conversation, if they're not already doing it or on the way to doing it, they're not capable of doing it.
I think it goes back to those 2 types of people we were talking about. Some people want a job so they can retire. Some people want a job so they never have to retire. And the ones who want to retire can't burn the boats.
I feel like when you put content out that's very controversial, like Andrew Tate, why did they ban Andrew Tate everywhere, right? Because they're scared of the things he's saying. Who banned him? Most likely not the people that don't like the message. The people that don't like the message will be like, fucking change that channel, fuck this guy. Yeah. The people that are hungry for it, they're going to seek it out no matter where he is, right? It's the powers that be that are trying to dumb you down in society that have banned Andrew Tate. And he's still there. I see his content every single day still. I see even more of it now that he's banned.
I think a lot of people just share it to keep it out there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is current shit. Yeah. Like he's over on Rumble. He's a lot of different places, right? So
I think that like it's some people can't. They're hourly employees or yearly employees,
which is good. I need those people.
Yeah, and the government needs people to be like that. We've talked about this before.
Because rich people don't pay taxes.
Yeah, school doesn't teach you how to think. They teach you what to think, so they can tell you what to do.
Liberals don't have kids. Liberals have your kids, and you keep sending them there because it's free babysitting. I can't pay babysit. You're stuck in a fucking hamster wheel that you're never going to get out of until you're willing to fucking have some hard times and put in more effort.
You were talking about this on live yesterday about how they're trying to separate the kids from the family and stuff.
Yeah.
And in the same live, you were talking about crack coming into LA in the 80s. All that stuff is to break up the family. They want your kids for 8 hours. They want you to have to go to work, and they want the head of the household to be in jail.
And then the time that you do have with the kids, it's not quality time.
No, you're exhausted.
Because you're exhausted.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And they have convinced women that they need to go out and not raise the kids, and they need to go out and get their own income. It literally is about, I mean, if you look at the projects, inherently it's mostly black families, right? And that's by design. It literally is racism from Democrats that built this free housing and then put these guys, they put the female into these, they allow the female and the children to live here, but the father's not allowed to live there, right? We need the father in prison. It's just privatized. It's just modern day slavery. And that's what it is. And look who's doing that. The president right now is responsible for such a great amount of that.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, that's not what these questions are about. This whole video's kind of gone in a completely different direction.
That's okay. They'll like it.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. All
It's almost a full moon.
Yeah.
Talking about realest, one of the realest to try. My family, SOE, got the tools to survive.